welcome business people. Here we are again at the third interview of Back to Business Action. This is a series of interviews with entrepreneurs or people in different from different industries, sharing their ideas and solutions that they implemented in their businesses during these corona times. I hope it will be inspiring to you. Today we have our special guest from Slovenia, Matija Tomšič. Hi, Matija.
Hello, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Actually, very good. Doing very good. The weather's nice. That's a plus, always.
Excellent. Of course, today here by my side is my co-host Amir. He will
Hello from me as well.
He will be asking the questions that I don't think of. So I'm really looking forward to everything today. Matija, you come from real estate industry, and let's just have a quick intro. What do you do? How do you help people now but also in general?
Okay, great. So hello everyone, my name is Matija actually, and I'm from Slovenia. So I work in a real estate agency. We have actually two companies. One is in Slovenia. That one focuses primarily on normal real estate, which would be residential. So it's apartments, housing, etc. And we have also another company in London. That one focuses on international projects, development projects. So those are large plots. We make a project for it, make renders, calculations, everything, and then sell it to investors. And then we combine and develop it with them and resell later if they wish to do so. So what do? I am primarily a key account manager. So I primarily assist clients in finding their properties.
We're having a little bit of trouble.
And we are back in short.
Is everything okay?
Okay,
No,
now
it
we're
is
back.
now.
Okay.
You're a key account, that was the part.
Oh, okay. So I'm a key account manager, which means that I basically help connect people. I talk to a lot of clients, a lot of investors primarily as well. I help them understand what they need, and I offer a compatible project for them. Similarly, in residential real estate, I try to listen to their clients' wishes, what they want in a home, and I try to find a suitable property for them. In addition, we also guide our clients throughout the entire process because we know that purchasing a new home or any real estate, be it either investment, is really stressful on everyone, especially since this is more or less once in a lifetime opportunity for the majority of people. So we want to be there for the client, for all our clients as a support. And they can also always come to us with questions, with their concerns, and we try to just make the entire process as less stressful as possible and try to just make them really satisfied so they feel comfortable when buying a property.
Great. My question first would be like, how much like so far, how much of your work activities were online and how much were they in person? Like, can you tell me in a percentage, for example?
So in percentage, I'd say the majority of our deals, negotiations, and everything was done in person. So I'd say it's about 90%. We feel these are very emotional topics, very important decisions being made on the line. So it's important to communicate. So it's through email and through phone. It's not very effective. It's a bit better through phone, but it's still, there's not a personal connection. Okay. And there's a lot of things that need to be discussed, a lot of details, a lot of important decisions to be made. So before this entire situation, a lot of our process has been done in person or through telephone. Okay. So we prefer to talk with people directly. Right now, a demand has dropped a bit, although not as much as we thought it would. We thought it might stop completely, but it didn't. And right now we are doing a lot of meetings through Zoom and just trying to keep the social distancing at a maximum.
That's what I'm most curious about. Like, what changed? What what did you stop doing, and what did you have to start doing?
So we stopped doing meetings in person completely. We decided to close down our offices and we all work from home. Um, we also started promoting a bit more heavily on social media. There wasn't really a time before that, or there wasn't as much time. There were other priorities, let's say. And we also started before we were doing more professional videos of properties because now viewings are not possible. First of all, we don't want to get us and the clients exposed. And on the other hand, I doubt any person would want a stranger in their house at this current situation. So what we started actually doing is having we were for the properties that we had keys, we started filming them, and we started sending the videos to our clients. So just with normal video through phone, or we asked the sellers to do it instead of us, just so it's easier for everyone, to look at the property, see if they like it or if they don't. And when this whole situation blows over, they can come view it in person, and we can get the negotiations going. So that was the primary switch of things. Other than that, it's primarily communication with people. So it's talking on the phone just as before, just a lot less doing that in person.
So you're not organizing parties anymore?
Nope, no more parties.
At the properties. And it's like, regarding the promotion, did things change?
Yes, it's in these times, it's very important to be empathetic. You cannot force down a sale and just say, hey, I'm calling about this property you might be interested in. Of course, you need to talk with people. How are they? And if they themselves express the wish to talk about their property, or to talk about if they're still searching for property, then you can start with, let's say, promotion and say, okay, we have this new listing on offer. Would you be interested if I sent you a video? And the majority say yes, but it's important not to push people, especially because as a real estate agent, you do get to meet a lot of people and have a personal connection with them. So you know a lot of the backstory as well. And it's important to respect each individual situation that they have and just not push anything and let them make the decision if they want to proceed or not.
Cool, definitely. But are you like, I don't know, posting more, or I don't know, doing, getting out with the pictures or those videos that you shoot, and I don't know, some other stuff that was like in comparison to things happening before?
So we wanted the videos just to have to send to our clients if someone was interested. Right now we are actually starting to put them online as well. We actually have a few ideas for a few series that we want to do, although we still need to complete that and maybe get that going as fast as possible. We're still discussing that, and that might be coming soon. I don't know. I will let you know if that happens. But we just try to inform people of what's going on. Let's say when the notary offices change their schedule, we wanted to inform that to all of our clients, anyone that's looking at buying a property. That's something you need to know. Also, what are the changes with taxes? What are the changes with legislation? What can you do? What can't you do? Let's say I think today is, so this week, at the start of this week, the municipality administration put building permits back on the essential list. That means before, for an entire month, they stopped the process of handing out new building permits, and right now that's continuing. So that's like an important message for all of our either private investors who are looking to build their house, or perhaps institutional investors which are looking to build large-scale projects, so that the process will continue.
Seeing the real estate industry as a whole, I mean, you can focus on Slovenia or Ljubljana. What would you say that were like the biggest losses a lot of industries had to like either quit or stop working completely. But real estate is not one of them. But still, every industry, I would say, except for the medical production, had to, had to lose something with this situation. What happened? What did you lose in real estate?
So in real estate in general, I think that a lot of the commercial buildings are right now very empty, so they're suffering from the rents, perhaps. A lot of hospitality businesses as well, so hotels, restaurants, any tourist attractions, that has been a bit tough for them, I presume. Uh, Also, the residential real estate, that depends on the owners, individuals, because some people are willing to negotiate. Some people are willing to, let's say, okay, you can pay me half the rent, or you can pay me no rent. When this situation blows over, we can continue as normal. And others are less flexible. I'd say it goes down very to a specific situation. Although regarding the value of real estate, that hasn't changed as much because, as you know, real estate has a slower response time regarding the value compared to the stock market. So the prices have actually only stopped growing. They haven't fallen yet. Although there's a lot of speculation that prices will drop, but that we need to see. That depends. The information changes day by day, hour by hour. So it depends when this full quarantine will be lifted. If that happens soon, prices may stay the same. If that may not happen for a while, prices may start to drop just because some people will need to sell and others won't.
We see that also the media is primarily spreading this scarcity vibe, let's call it. There are no, like, people are losing their jobs, companies are failing, there are no money, and there's no money, and this is like the strong message that is being sent. But when you look around, some industries have continued working. I mean, and they are like, people are still investing. And for example, in our city, there are some buildings have continued to be built, and people are building houses or renovating. I mean, there's money there. It's I mean, I believe truly that there is this illusion that there are no money and no one is buying anything except for the essentials. But you yourself have said that the demand for the real estate has not dropped, has not stopped completely. There's still people buying real estate. How do you perceive it?
Yeah, so yes, you're correct. So it hasn't stopped completely. People are still looking. People will always need to live somewhere, so they need a place to live. Some people may have their lease contracts ending soon, and they might be looking for a new place. Either the banks have been dropping the interest rate, which means that any loans are more affordable now, and they are trying to how do you say, restart the economy when this entire thing is over. Like when focusing on Slovenia, I think this week the Bank of Slovenia actually stopped all banks from paying out dividends and any extra profits to their shareholders, with the intent to hold the capital that would be left later on, so that the loans could go through. So the banks would be able to offer more loans when this situation is over. So also, anyone investing, everyone is speculating that the prices will drop. So people have already started buying stocks on the stock market. We saw also on the Chinese market, they have been investing a lot in the previous months when the situation there was worse. But everyone is ready. If the prices do drop, the investors are there to buy it.
Yeah, isn't that something that actually happens in crisis? It's people actually do the same in stores or something. I don't know. Take Zara for example. When after the New Year's, when you have discounts that go 30, 50, 70%, you know, it's full of people and everyone actually gets something, you know. And in the economic crisis, these are the times when real estate or properties are they have discounts, you know. I mean, we call it the price dropping or something, you know, but if you imagine like the prices were at 100% points or something, you know, and now they go, I don't know, 5, 10, 20, 50% down. And in every economic crisis, it's a place for people to get rich, because now when properties get down, when the prices get down, and when they become, let's say, cheaper and in a certain way more affordable, people that have cash, it will be wise to invest, because the prices will get back in some time or something like that. Do you see like you said, investors are like sitting on cash and waiting for that to happen? Do you see that a lot?
Of course. So the economy has always been and always will be cyclical. That means that there are economic downturns and upturns, which means it slowed down sometimes, which is right now. It's kind of a pause. It's not really the 2008 economic crisis where the entire market collapsed. It's just, you know, it's put on a pause. So right now, there are still buyers out there, still sellers out there willing to sell. It just been put on hold for a bit. But this will start to go through soon, I think. I'd say in a maximum about a month time, when they start lifting the quarantines and lifting the regulations a bit, when things calm down, people with cash who are in a financial position, uh, in a better financial position, will of course, like you mentioned, this is the quote unquote discount season for real estate. It always has been. And with any types of investment, you buy low and sell high, and you go against the market basically. It's the formula is not really complicated. It's just the execution is harder to do, right? It's harder to have a few 100,000 saved up, buy a property, and then sell it when the market lifts.
Do you like? What about the loans in the banks? Has that changed at this point?
The loans so the loans are still being given out. The interest rate has been lowered, although it depends on each individual situation. So it's a normal process, more or less, although some people are more suitable to get a loan and others are less suitable than they were before. Let's say the people that lost their jobs, of course, the bank will look at that and say, okay, you may not be any more liable to have a $100,000 loan, but you can have a 150,000. For example, that's just a blank example. Of course, it depends on the.
What is being bought the most right now?
In terms of real estate?
Yes.
It's still residential. Residential right now is, I think, being bought the most, from what I've seen, because like I said, people will always need to live somewhere, and we have seen it in the recent years as well. But the commercial market is starting to change. The first changes that were coming are the open office style and the I forgot the expression for it, but it is the exchangeable workplace. So you don't come into office every day of the week, but let's say a third of the employees come the first 3 weeks, the second third come in the between, and the third of the employees come in the last 3 days, and it's partial work from home. So
yes,
I think
organized remote.
Yeah, remote work, exactly. So we have in our area, so I think the Balkan states are a bit behind when it comes to that, but let's say in America that has become very prominent. I've been speaking to a few of our clients which actually are looking to moving their company completely to work from home because productivity has been.
Just quick, we lost you you've been talking to your clients from US.
Okay, so they were an IT firm, and they had an entire building, and they are actually thinking of perhaps moving to a complete work from home model because they saw the productivity raise and the costs have also been lower. But on the other hand, some other companies have been looking towards expanding their manufacturing plants, etc. I also saw in the news, I think it was 2 days ago or 3 days ago, that the 3M company actually are looking towards opening new plants and buying new machinery to produce masks. And they have been preparing for this since the H1N1 flu, which was I think in 20 years ago. And they have been actually preparing a crisis plan if something like this would happen again. So I think they're looking towards doubling their mask production in the next 3 to 6 months, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it's
okay.
Yeah. I mean, your background is in marketing, and I mean, you are working in sales directly. There's been some kind of shame selling. If you noticed, especially on LinkedIn, like many people are just saying, like even business people, like, oh, stop selling now. Now is not the time to sell. It's portrayed as something inconsiderate, or it's have you encountered this kind of posts? And also I'm wondering, how are you experiencing sales process right now? What are your challenges? What do you like now, and so on?
So I have been seeing a lot of posts like that as well. I must say in the beginning I almost agreed with them, but seeing as how this situation has progressed, I'm starting to see it's it's not as much of a taboo topic. It's something that people try to say, but I think their point is being misread. So I think what the point should be is you should sell right now with empathy. Don't force someone to sell, change the tone, adapt to the situation. Say, okay, is this client really in a position to buy something, or do they really need this product or service? Or is it just, me trying to sell something? Before it was easy. When I say easy, take that with a grain of salt, but easier. Okay, that works. So people were more willing to listen to offers right now. Some people may not be. Perhaps let's say for real estate, perhaps their financial position changed so much that they cannot afford to buy anything, cannot even rent. For others, they're still looking for an apartment. The situation hasn't changed for them a lot. Maybe they got more business in the crisis, so they will now have even more disposable income. So we are still, as marketers and sellers, we're still here to help people. And although that does cost, product services, they always do cost. I don't think it's appropriate to stop selling completely. Although the approach definitely should be taking a good look at it and make sure you're not, let's say, offending anyone or being inappropriate for the situation.
I love how you said, like, selling with empathy. That should be a hashtag, definitely, because we've witnessed, like, as you were saying, I realized that it also happened to me. For some people, when they were selling, I felt like, oh, come on, it's not the time. And for other people, I was like, oh, great, this is so useful. Maybe not for me, but I saw the use for other people or businesses and so on.
It's something that sticks to your mind. Sorry, for the first week of lockdown, and the countries around haven't introduced that at the same time. So, like at the beginning, when you start and when you just get home, you feel a little bit of fear and panic, and everything's changed and so on, and you feel like you need time to adapt, so the life actually doesn't go on. And then after 7 days or 10 days, there's like, we can't just lay down and watch Netflix and do nothing. We got to do something. And how do you work if there's no money floating around, and doing stuff? So even though like a lot of people have been giving something for free, especially in our industry, in consulting and coaching, a lot of people have given free sessions and so on. We did, and we do it still. But it doesn't actually refer to, I don't know, taking one client and coaching him or her from the beginning to the end. I know total. It's like you can do 1 or 2 sessions for free, and then if someone wants a deep perspective and I don't know, go do something special about his skills or about his business and so on, then it's obviously something that you will give time, and you will charge in a certain way. Something that I liked a lot was this one like entrepreneur woman. She started a webinar that she intended before, but now she gave scholarships for people affected by the coronavirus situation. So it's like everyone who's, as you say, making even more money right now, spending less money and having some income and so on, it's totally normal that you would pay the fair price. But for those that don't have income anymore, or that are in concern of their businesses or whatever, okay, we give scholarships to those people, for the webinar, or I don't know, something else. But some people have felt this urge that they need to give everything for free, and I don't know, like now is not the time to sell. People don't have money and so on. And it's like, I don't know, what is it like? Is it in Slovenia? I know you've had a tremendous amount of money from your government put into saving the economy and so on. Do paychecks for those that companies are not paying it, do they get reimbursed, or I don't know, does government pay for the paychecks now?
Yes, so in Slovenia specifically, we did have a bit of an, not really issue, but a change, because right when the epidemic hit, well, the pandemic, but when the epidemic in Slovenia was announced, we actually had a change of government. So they needed to make all the legislation and anything that was extraordinary, they needed to prepare from beginning.
Mm-hmm.
There has been some helps to the people, although it's still in the making of processes. So I think for large companies that are still working, it's, I think 80% of the gross wage will be reimbursed by the government.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 80% right now. And I know that the sole proprietorships and the small and medium enterprises will be getting some help. And I think it's abilities to pay their tax obligations in 12 or 24 installments.
Uh-huh.
So there has been work done for them, of course. The government, I think, everywhere should step in and should help. Uh, I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something.
Well,
Any measures?
having this help from the government in some of the countries, for example, I don't know, in Austria they cover the paychecks for those that have lost it, and for the unemployed people they also get even bigger amount of money that they used to get from the unemployment office from before. And at the same time, it kind of leaves like a large group of people whose finances hadn't actually changed, and in terms of being able to buy something and so on, they have their buying power hasn't changed that much. So we know that there are always people who are affected by it, and businesses and so on, but some of the, especially European, like wealthier country, they are covering
The paychecks,
for people.
My next question is about your work, your company. Can you tell me, like, how did it how much or how long did it take to adjust to this situation in your company? You mentioned that you had to cut some meetings, switch it to Zoom, and you started like filming the properties and so on. How long did it take for you and your company, just to switch and find another solution for that?
It depends on which part of the changes we would talk about, but let's say I don't think it took that long. It took us about a week just to adjust mentally, everyone, I think. And then basically it's business as usual. We started doing.
How was that week? How did it look like from your perspective? Was it chaotic, or did you feel the general crisis, or?
It was different. It was depending on person to person. Some people were optimistic, some more pessimistic. In the end, we were just talking about the situation, what's going on, etc. And the first week, I think everyone felt it a bit stronger, because I saw also the number of calls was a bit less. Then after the first week, we started doing meetings again. We closed the company door, so we didn't have any meetings. We just I found, I think, on LinkedIn or somewhere, I find out about Zoom, and I say, hey, should we do it via Zoom instead of Skype? And everyone's like, okay, yeah, let's try it. It was great. We started doing meetings through Zoom because it's very easy. It's just one click away. And regarding the videos, we had a few videos from before. We just started sharing them. And like I said, when before they closed down the limitation of movement throughout the city, whatever we had, the properties that were empty or like plots of land, we just went, shot a video, quick one, 30 seconds, 1 minute, and just so you have it, so you don't have to go constantly there. And because some people are.
Did you use like the professional equipment, or did you already had people like a video crew or whatever, or did you do it like with your phones?
So before, we definitely had a professional crew come in, shoot the video, edit it, put their logo and everything. So it would be very professional. Right now, just for our clients' sake, just so they don't have to expose themselves and come to the property, we just shot a video through their phone, explained everything, and send it to them, and just say, okay, is there anything I can help you with? If you have any questions, let me know. We can discuss everything with the owner via Zoom on a meeting, and everything else can be done either online or through the post office. So it hasn't been really for us personally.
Yes, continue.
Yeah, so for us as workers, things haven't changed much. Of course, it took some time to adapt, but it's more on the client side. It depends on each individual client. How much are they willing to be active? Because I think everyone should be, whatever they were planning to do before, except, let's say, travel and socializing. You should still continue working on your goals. This thing will pass at one point or another, and it's like you said, you can't stay inside and watch Netflix forever. You will need something to do. So right now you have the time to exercise, learn, explore options that you couldn't before. Let's say with some clients, we actually found that now they have more time to look at properties, to discuss, to think about it, because they don't have as much other things going on, and they have time to sit down, talk about it, discuss, and think about.
I really love how we actually in these times, how we found a way to get things done even with limiting resources. The creativity of getting things done is right now is like, wow, you can see that, it's people have started. Me personally, I was I'm a cured perfectionist, so if we were talking about these interviews like before Corona, I would think about the professional camera and the lights and the set and everything. And now I'm like more focused on really getting the ideas and solutions to people who need to hear this instead of focusing on, you know, on the camera quality or whatever, because I truly realized the most important thing is that you share the message, the information, the value, and not how you do it.
Exactly. I think it's
yeah.
yeah. I think that's completely correct. What you said. Also, when that was also our thought. Like, how are the clients going to perceive this? The videos aren't going to be as good as they were before. But in the end, everyone is in the same situation. Everyone will understand. Okay, like, you need to be home. You need to have that bookshelf behind you. I need to have this white wall behind me. There's no other way. What are you going to do? Go outside? Nope.
Yeah.
And
Or
there was
not do
one
it.
more.
Not do it. That's
Or
the
not do
worst
it.
thing.
Exactly. And I think really just start doing it. Whatever you do, start doing it. And especially I wanted to mention, there's a quote I listened to or read about it some time ago. Nothing you can think of is impossible. Like, if you think about it, people were probably thinking of flying during the Roman Empire days.
Yeah.
They just didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
But they could thought about it. And right now we have, what do we have? Airplanes, helicopters, everything. So even in this time of Corona, whatever you think is not possible, that's not true. You just need to find the right way.
I am
Exactly.
thinking of teleporting.
Sure.
So it's possible. So maybe
Yeah.
maybe
Possible.
even
Just figure it out.
During the teleportation, we would have all the viruses isolated.
maybe you're doing it, but you don't know.
You'd actually get to a place, totally healthy and virus free.
But the same thing happened to us. I mean, the first week I was kind of, a little bit in some kind of regret, because we had like the whole year planned out with our business meetings and team buildings and workshops. And I was really looking forward because it was like a very live year. And when a lot of things got canceled, I was like, oh, and we had so many great ideas, and I was so looking forward to the action. And then I said to Amir, I was like, okay, but I was so looking forward to those team buildings with certain companies because we had like a great thing going on, and now we can't do it. And Amir was like instantly, but maybe we can do it online. And I was like, seriously, like online team building, like how does that work? And the moment when I thought that it's not possible, I was like, okay, if I'm thinking this is impossible, I mean, definitely it must be possible. So right now we are actually in a process of in partnership with one Slovenian agency who is doing team building from Ljubljana also. We partnered up to make this like an online team building, and it's been so I'm really curious, what we will create and what kind of product we will make. But it's definitely challenged the ideas and what we can do actually in these times. And last question for you from me is we've all been like handling and going through different phases of handling this situation. Like it's going to pass, and then it's like, oh, when will this end? And a lot of things. Amir and I have been working location free for 3 years. So the biggest thing that was challenging for me was the freedom. Not being able to just go to the coffee shop and take my laptop and enjoy my coffee and do a session with the client, or go to a session or a meeting to the company or whatever, and do a workshop. And that was like I really took it. That was really challenging for me, and I was going through the adjusting. Okay, now it's not happening. It will happen, sometime this will end, and it's okay. What was the most challenging thing for you?
So in the beginning, of course, it was the pressure that you can't go anywhere. You shouldn't go anywhere. You should just stay inside. And for me, when I'm used to getting a lot of interaction from different people, constantly working, like you could say I'm a workaholic, doesn't really matter, but it has been a big shift. What also changed was the office environment. You know, there isn't, I myself very much like to have a specific place for something. So at home, that's where I relax. At the gym, that's where I train. In the office, that is work mode. And when you're in the office, where you're in your shirt and when you have your tie on, that's okay. You're in business. Let's go do this.
Mhm.
And so that was really, and just like talking to my colleagues in general, exchanging ideas. You can still do it over text, but and over phones, but it's just not the same. And the further the situation has been going on, I have started to miss more things, which have been, like you mentioned, coffee in the sun. That has been a craving of mine for the past week and a half, I think. And also something a bit unexpected, my hairdresser. I have been starting to miss to go to the hairdresser, and it has been starting to annoy me a bit. But looking from an outside perspective, these, you could say, are first world problems. We have it very good. It's okay, except for the pandemic. Our lives haven't really changed up, except for the part that we have to stay at home. You can
Yeah.
still exercise, you can still think, you can still read, you can still watch movies. It's just, it's a I think it's a psychological thing. It's just the pressure that there's something out there and you need to stay home, and that's it.
Mhm.
Cool.
People just need to adapt mentally. That's the important thing,
Yeah,
I think.
and you are like so practical that you know, when you talk about it, it really sounds more easier than when most people talk about it. You know, like it's so amazing how we all have different perspectives on this. But I liked what you focused on, like this general pressure was a big thing. Many companies were actually talking about, yeah, remote, we're used to it, you know, and it's not such a big deal. But in reality, a lot of things have changed. I mean, we used to work remote before, but we didn't have a baby inside the house, you know. Our baby was taken care of, I mean, at my mom's house, and you know, we didn't have any that kind of distraction. And now many people are forced to do remote, to work from home with their partners, also working with their kids, and you know, it's not the usual, you know. Okay, it's still
With
remote work.
restaurants closed, so you have to cook like every
Exactly.
day.
And you still have to like go buy groceries, or you know, I don't know, and for the people who have to take care of their families, I mean, that's like a whole another topic. So it's really amazing that we are many people now are have just like put the mask, the perfect mask off, and we started like sharing honestly, okay, it was pressure, it is pressure, and you know, just offering solutions how to handle these things.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had there was this one day when I talked to Ayla and I told her, what do you think if when this Corona times are over and we we are our business is at a stage where we earn 10K a month and we got ourselves a new car and paid off all the debts, you know, and everything is amazing. And Isla was like, she was like frightened at the moment I was telling that, you know.
Shocked, like
Huh?
shocked.
Then it is like, because we train our brain not to think that anything is impossible, you know. And if you were to think, I don't know, Corona, this time, this situation ends in like, I don't know, 2 months or three, six, I don't know. And if you were to think about a crazy thing, crazy good thing happen to you, well, what is it that could pop up to your mind?
So something completely unordinary.
something that you would
That
say
would be
it's
like
impossible.
crazy,
You know, you would say this
crazy.
is impossible. You know, to
You
happen
know,
in
like
these
like
times.
this was the month that you earned the best, the most money in
Like
sales or
some
whatever.
crazy or something like that. But what would it be for you? You know, to get married, maybe.
Whoa, that would be a bit crazy. If that happened, I will be completely surprised. Um,
That's the stuff.
I like the quote. I think it's Bill Gates, but people underestimate what they can do in 1 year and no, overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10.
Uh-huh.
So I'd say owning my first property. That would be really the thing because
Nice.
I'm passionate about real estate and I really like investing in general. And those two things combined, I just really want to, have my first property, get it started, get the investment portfolio on the way. If that happens in the next year, I will be surprised, although I don't think that's impossible.
You-
But more in general about the situation, I really hope this teaches not only me, but a lot of people the important values that we really shouldn't be so materialistic like we are right now, but that the human connections, that we cherish them a bit more, that we don't take things for granted, which we did, like just going outside for a walk on a sunny day. Actually, the sun here, the weather has been so good. Right now it's 20 degrees. It will be
Yeah.
25 during the weekend.
Yeah.
It's tempting to go outside. It's very tempting. And just the walk in the park doesn't do it. You want to be outside the entire day. It feels like summer here. I don't know what the weather is down there, but
The same.
uh, so I think it's really, really hard to keep your focus, but it is a good opportunity to practice self-discipline. When I was talking to also my friends, let's say me as well, have been eating a lot more just due to the stress, and I was like, okay, no, this has to stop. Like, what are you doing? You can't do this. And like I said, I needed to force myself out of my comfort zone. Before, the gym was the place where I trained. Well, now it's the home floor, and that's where you need to train, and you need to do it because life goes on. That's it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Wow.
Definitely.
If you could share, like as you said, people are still buying the properties and still renting or whatever. What would be your tip for buyers, either apartments or housing or whatever, or renting? What would be your tips to to for those people?
Okay, so my tip in general would be for any investors, buy now. If you can, buy now. Don't wait for the market to crash, because then there will be other people that will be in the same position as you and you will have more competition. If you're
Mhm.
an individual, if you're looking to rent, uh, you will have to make compromises. Just go with what suits you most. Don't try to look for the perfect place. And if you're buying an apartment, house, or whatever for your own use, if you have the money, good. Try and go ahead with the transaction. If your situation if your situation is now worse than it was before, okay, work on yourself first mentally, get in a good mental state, then just look at the market, look at what's on the market, see if anything interests you. You can still call, maybe if they have a video, they can still send it to you, and just get a good idea of what you really like in properties and what you don't like in properties. Just get a good feel for it. And I think
Mm.
Okay, we lost you for a couple of seconds here.
okay.
We lost you for, I think, 2 sentences.
So what did you hear? Did you see? So I did talk about rents and I did talk about normal apartments, and
Yes.
I just said, work on yourself, try to understand where you want to go, what you want the perfect property to be. If you're an individual buyer or investor, just explore yourself, work on yourself, get better mentally. I think that will help everyone,
Yeah.
regardless if you're buying, selling, or doing nothing. Get yourself in a mental state where you can be like, okay, this is gonna pass. I need to work on myself. Life goes on. This is just a bad time for
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
We're all in the same boat.
Yeah, this might be the time when people will look to rent or buy an apartment with one extra room for their business, you know.
Mhm.
Because who knows, maybe we switch to this remote kind of doing business for some time in the future, you know.
That might happen. That's actually a very good observation. I wouldn't be surprised if some companies in the future would start subsidizing. Let's say instead of the company paying rent for a building, entire building, they could just subsidize each employee extra few 10,000 euros, dollars, whatever, and just get an extra room and have that as your office. That would be actually a very good idea. If anyone's out there listening, steal it, no problem.
Yeah.
Just contact me so I can sell it. Okay, that's it.
Cool.
Uh, and yeah, I think. I mean, if anyone out there is looking just to share ideas or talk about real estate, I just love the topic so much. So feel free, you know, to add me anywhere, message me. I think LinkedIn is probably the best, just because it's more business. Then we can talk either through the phone, Zoom, whatever. And like talking
I'm sure that whoever watches this interview will
yeah,
see how practical you are, and you know how resourceful you are. So if I were to buy a property in Slovenia, and I hope someday we will, that I would definitely want to work with you, because you are like so practical and flexible, and you know, really focused on meeting like your customer needs perfectly, and that is what like a dream come true for every client, right?
Yeah. But let's not extend this interview that much.
Yeah,
It was like you have one more.
Yes.
Go.
Since you are like, so I love when people express their passion so openly. And when you said like, I love real estate and, you know, investing, I truly hope that you are, you become the European Robert Kiyosaki, who has like 2,000 properties.
More like 7,000.
7,000. Oh my God. I mean, he was definitely a person who changed the perspective of investing and this real estate and finances for more for a lot of people, including us too. So I hope that you become that. I mean, you definitely seem to have a passion for it. Thank you very much, Matija, for this. This was like such a practical and valuable interview, and I hope that whoever is watching, if they have that they were actually shocked by some things and some information that you explained. I especially like this idea of how did you say it, this extendable offices, or was it exchangeable? This was completely new to me. I didn't heard it before. I'm really looking to explore it in that way. We will put your contact here in the video, so people can contact you, and I'm sure they will after this interview. Thank you again.
thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure and always happy to talk.
Great,
yeah.
Great. So see you soon and talk to you soon. And if you have any ideas, please share on LinkedIn. This was amazing.
And for all of you watching, check out our Facebook page, Invision by Amir and Alan Mulalic, our LinkedIn profiles, Alan Mulalic, Amir Mulalic,
and YouTube also, and YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Will be streaming there. The whole video, you can find it there. Thank you for watching, and please share your comments and feedback here in the comments or in messages.
And make sure you leave a like and subscribe. That's from one of the kids. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.